How is whey protein made in a factory? Let's peel back the lid on this fascinating process from milk to muscle. Of course, this process begins long before it reaches the factory floor. It starts in pasture, where dairy cows graze contentedly, producing the milk that will eventually become your protein powder. And, as you'll probably expect, the transformation from milk to muscle fuel is a complex process that combines traditional dairy techniques with modern food science. Our journey begins on the farm, where farmers have perfected milk production over generations. These aren't just any cows. They're carefully bred and cared for to produce high-quality milk rich in proteins and other nutrients. The cows are milked multiple times daily, using automated milking systems that ensure efficiency and hygiene. As soon as the milk leaves the cow, the clock starts ticking. Milk is a highly perishable product, so it needs to be processed quickly to maintain its quality. The fresh milk is immediately cooled and stored in large, clean tanks on the farm. It is then transported in refrigerated tanker trucks to dairy processing plants. These trucks are like giant thermos flasks on wheels, and they keep the milk at a constant cool temperature to prevent bacterial growth.
We are stronger than before.
When the milk arrives at the dairy plant, it undergoes rigorous quality testing. Samples are taken to check for bacterial count, antibiotic residues, and overall composition. Only milk that meets strict quality standards moves on to the next stage. This is because the quality of the milk directly affects the quality of the whey protein that will be produced.
Interesting.
The first major step is pasteurization, which involves heating the milk to a specific temperature for a set amount of time to kill harmful bacteria. Modern pasteurization equipment uses precise temperature controls and rapid heating and cooling to achieve this balance.
Now what?
Now, here's where things get interesting. To produce whey protein, we need to make cheese first.
Why, you ask?
That's because whey is a byproduct of cheese production. The pasteurized milk is pumped into large vats where rennet enzymes are added. These enzymes cause the milk to coagulate, separating into solid curds, which will become cheese, and liquid whey. This separation process is fascinating to watch. The milk slowly transforms from a uniform liquid into a mixture of solid chunks floating in a yellowish-green liquid. The solid chunks are the curds, pressed and aged to become cheese. But it's the liquid, the whey, that we're interested in for protein production. The liquid whey is drained off and collected in large tanks. At this point, it contains about 6 to 7% solids, including proteins, lactose, minerals, and a small amount of fat. But to make the concentrated whey protein powders you find on store shelves, we must remove most non-protein components and water. The first step in concentrating the whey is filtration. The liquid whey is passed through a series of increasingly fine filters. This process, known as ultrafiltration, removes much lactose and minerals while concentrating the proteins. The filters used in this process are marvels of engineering, with tiny pores that can separate molecules based on size. After filtration, the whey protein concentrate typically contains about 80% protein. But for those super pure whey protein isolates, further processing is needed. This is where ion exchange or microfiltration comes into play. Ion exchange is a chemical process that separates proteins based on their electrical charge. The whey is passed through a resin that attracts the proteins, allowing other components to be washed away. The proteins are then released from the resin, producing a pure protein solution. Microfiltration, on the other hand, uses extremely fine ceramic filters to separate the proteins. This method is often preferred because it doesn't involve chemicals and can preserve more of the beneficial whey protein subfractions. At this point, we have a liquid that's incredibly rich in protein, typically 90 to 95% protein by dry weight. But it's still a liquid and it's not very convenient for shipping or use. That's where the spray drying process comes in. Spray drying is like turning the protein liquid into a fine mist and then instantly drying it. The protein solution is sprayed into a large, hot chamber in a fine mist. As the tiny droplets fall, they rapidly dry into a powder. It's like making instant snow, but with protein. The result is the fine, dry powder that you're familiar with as whey protein.
But we're not done yet.
This powder then goes through a sifting process to ensure uniform particle size and remove any clumps. It's also the stage where any additional ingredients might be added, such as flavors, sweeteners, or other nutrients. After this is complete, the powder moves on to the packaging line. This is where the protein powder transforms from a bulk product into the familiar pouches you receive at home. The packaging process is a marvel of automation and precision. First, the packaging material is printed with all the necessary information. Product names, nutritional facts, batch numbers, and best by dates are applied perfectly. Then, the empty pouches make their way to the filling line. Before filling begins, there is another round of allergen checks and a deep equipment clean. Food safety is paramount, and these steps ensure that there's no risk of cross-contamination between different products. The filling process itself is a high-speed operation. Machines draw out the protein powder and deposit precisely measured amounts into each pouch, and then the pouch is heat-sealed. But we're not done yet.
Not yet.
Each filled pouch then passes through an X-ray machine. This final check ensures that there's nothing in the pouch that shouldn't be there, just protein powder and a scoop. It's like airport security for your protein. The sealed and X-rayed pouches are then packed into larger boxes or totes, ready for distribution. But there's one final quality check before they can leave the factory. Samples from each batch are tested again, including a taste test. Imagine that job professional protein shake taster.
Yeah, and so what?
If anything is amiss at this final stage, if the taste is off, or if any other quality issues are detected, the entire batch is put on hold. It might be sent back for reblending or, in some cases, rejected entirely. This is the commitment to quality that goes into every pouch of protein. Only after passing this final hurdle is the protein powder truly ready to be shipped out to customers around the world. And there you have it. This is how whey protein is made in a factory.